believed to be the true origin of this entity. But just to be sure, I had to fly all the way to Germany from the US to meet with the two creators of Silverblight to get some answers. Okay guys, I'm at a location that the two idiot Germans said to meet them at. And right now I'm not seeing them, and this is kind of a weird place here. Let me show you. It's seems to be some abandoned building. Derv? Lino? Well, guys? Guys? Hello? What? Guys, this isn't funny. What are they doing? Guys? Come on now, let's come on, I just wanted to talk about Silverblight. I came all the way to Germany to see guys. Ah!
We have your orbit now.
Okay, so I didn't get any answers while over there, and I'm totally not locked in the cage in Durf's and Lino's basement right now. But let's get into the real theory. I believe the Silverblight is, or well, in this case was, a human. A normal human that had become the Silverblight. And I know that sounds crazy, so in order for this to make sense, we have to go back to the beginning. And I mean the very beginning. The Silverblight way back in episode 1 showed us that it had some basic forms of intelligence. An entity, learning and adapting to the environment that it lives in, aka Team Fortress 2, which I will get to why I believe TF2 to be the place where the Blight thrives later. But from the beginning, we saw that it had the ability to recreate or reuse the bodies of other TF2 players, with it making these imperfect recreations, with it not fully mastering the ability to copy another player. It was almost as if it was just born. And along with this, the Silverblight makes people's movements and bodies become linked to the person who's playing Soul. But the other key thing to note is that the weakness we all know about when it comes to the Blight is that if a player is killed by another player, or if a player dies by jumping off the map, they can escape it, with the Silverblight essentially locking down any server it's in, preventing players from leaving. And as we see in episodes 2 and 3, the Silverblight evolves and learns from its environment quickly, with it gaining the ability to travel between servers in episode 2 through latching onto Johnny Danny, and episode 3, it learns mimicry, with it taking what people have said in the game and reusing those voice lines. And what I believe is one of the most telling of the origin of the Silverblight, we have to look at the video titled Puppet. In this episode, we are told multiple things about what it likes, what it thrives off of. We listen to a sniper describing its feelings and what it's experiencing as one of the trapped souls, how the Silverblight makes them suffer, constantly, and how it contorts and rearranges the player in this never-ending hell. But in this episode, the most important part of what this player says is this.
They split, and 1,000 parasitic tendrils wrap around my mind. It wants me to go along with it, to move and scream like the others. I resist. Its smile widens behind my head. It savors my resistance.
The Silverblight needs control and wants the player to go through all this pain. Any resistance makes it enjoy it taking control more. That it almost thinks it's funny or enjoyable that the players think that they can escape it. It's confident. It's cocky, almost. Episode 4 doesn't show much in terms of the evolution, but it does show how the Silver Blight interacts with the real world when the player comes in contact with it reaching into the real world and taking their souls, leaving their bodies as empty husk. The episode titled Reflection does show something that I feel is very important to my theory, which is the saw scene. With the Silver Blight, when it took the player classic and proceeded to smile as it sawed him, as the blade cut into this newly assimilated player. It's all a sick game and enjoys every bit of it. The episode Awareness doesn't show much that's new in regards to the Silver Blight, but it does show us something that I think is overlooked as something scary in this episode. In this episode, we see the player Nexus come across the Blight yet again, but this time it's become this huge and deformed amalgamation, which we have seen only bits of when the Silver Blight has done this before, in previous episodes. But this time we get a full-on view of it, and it's horrifying. But I believe that there was a reason for us to see this. Because an important thing to note is that it wasn't just traveling all around the map till later in the episode, but just sitting there in the corner, by spawn, waiting. It wanted someone to just see it, to strike fear into whoever came across it. That I believe the Silver Blight is not only learning to perfect its recreations of other players, but at the same time the Silver Blight itself is becoming more and more corrupted, growing and changing into a more horrifying creature. Not because of natural growth, but because it just wants to become something more fearful. That it wants everyone to fear it. In the episode Doubt, the main thing that we witness is that we see the player Classic again. But this time we know that they were already taken over by the Silver Blight. But we see that he is still controlled by the Blight until it allows for just a moment for Classic to talk again and not be trapped in its hellish void. But only then after for a train to hit him, keeping him still trapped within the Blight. Again, choosing to strike fear into Eren, but also toying with its victims. The Silver Blight has been shown again and again that it's having fun, doing what it believes is enjoyable, while also gaining strength and intelligence from doing so. And finally, we reach the newest episode of Silver Blight, titled Conviction, which tells more about what the Silver Blight wants, but also how it wants to be perceived. The Silver Blight now, as we see, wants to be seen as a god, with it not actually being one, but wants people to see it as one. As if its ego or something is growing, with now a person, Savior, being the voice for the Silver Blight, to speak its thoughts and intentions. But of course, we only got part of the story. But corrupting people into believing that they are being saved and not trapped in its hellish existence. But we know that's a lie. That the Blight doesn't want to save people, but to make people suffer, as we have seen time and time again. But after going through all this, why do I think the Silver Blight was a human? I think this is all a story of revenge. The Silver Blight itself has the characteristics of someone who wants to make others suffer and enjoys it. Someone who loathes people, but it feels some type of sick happiness from making people suffer. That enjoys making people feel alone as well, whether by assimilating them and making them feel alone within itself, or leaving people alone with no friends, left alive, like Eren. Or, if they're not left alive, striking so much fear into players like Bread Dolphin, leaving them too scared and leaving Eren alone. And it's doing this because the Silver Blight was alone too. Here's my theory. The Silver Blight was just a TF2 player. Like you, like me. And they loved the game. It was their main pastime. But it was all they had. Constantly playing the game, but with no one else. They were always playing alone. Constantly ignored in voice chat and text chat. Just a person who was probably pretty good at the game. Outside Team Fortress 2, they most likely didn't have anyone